I mean, it's just me.
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
All right. So, seeing as how he has muted, I'm guessing we are pretty much started. So, welcome to another MaliceCast live TV talk. We are talking Supernatural. This episode, the latest episode from tonight, season 13, episode 8, The Scorpion and the Frog. With me, as usual, I've got my knower of all things supernatural, Superwhovian freak. How you doing, Super?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to decompress from that episode and we'll be good.
Yeah, I think, man, I was enjoying it for most of it, but we'll get to that. And we are missing our standard third tonight. Gia Tomcat, aka at Red Meepaw, is out with a little bit of health issues. She will be fine, but just missing her tonight. So just going with the duet. Hopefully my computer doesn't crap out too much.
If it is, I have free reign.
Absolutely. Let's see here. So right away, getting into the previously on, or as they said in the episode, then we see Jack killing the guy and fleeing. Right. We see Lucy and Cass captured, and for a while there's a line in the middle of the episode or towards the beginning, where Sam says, "Oh yeah, I talked to Cass," and I was like, "Wait a minute, isn't he?" And I remembered, right. Oh yeah,
a good reference, just in case you weren't aware. Yeah, hi, Colonel Sanders is still pretending to be Cass.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the over-the-top Southern Colonel Sanders-ness of him, like if he was just played as a normal dude rather than an arch villain, I think I'd probably like the character more.
Yeah, it's just the writing. You're right. The writing is over the top, and he's delivering it over the top. So hopefully it'll be. I'm thinking with the feedback that they're going to be getting, if you notice it, they'll adjust. And so hopefully the second half of the season, they'll adjust. They'll tone it down a little bit. Get him out of the white suit. Please, for the love of God, get him out of the white suit. And then,
it's got to be so hard to keep clean in hell.
I know. Well, I mean, I know what they're doing. Crowley was all in black. You don't want to be the black suited guy again. I almost said the black guy again, but I'm like, that's not right. Nope, the black suited guy again. But I don't know. Put him in maroon. Put him in blue. Put him in jeans and a t-shirt. I don't care. Let him be flannel. It works for the Winchesters. So
that would be interesting. I wonder how much, if they do change his outfit, the character will change just based on costuming. So before we even get into the episode, I wanted to, as soon as I saw the title of the episode, The Scorpion and the Frog, the first thing that I thought was, okay, this is, whatever happens in this episode, it's going to be about people remaining true to their nature. Because that's the old parable, the scorpion and the frog. The frog agrees to give the scorpion a ride across the river as long as the scorpion promises not to stab him or sting him. And halfway across the river, the scorpion stings him. And he says, "Why would you do that? Now we're both going to drown." He says, "Well, that's just who I am. You knew that." So without getting into too many details, did you see any evidence of this episode being properly named? Like, I mean, maybe right at the end with the Crossroads Demon?
Yeah, with the Crossroads Demon. I mean, there was betrayal, obviously.
Sure.
But the betrayal came from the person you didn't expect. She kind of bit the hand that fed him, so to speak.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, they were all in character the whole episode. Nobody was out of character. Nobody really pretended to be anything different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess it was a cool name. I like the name. I like the parable, but I don't know. I didn't feel like there was any hidden agenda or.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see here. Getting into the actual episode, we start in Cambridge, England, and we start with almost Always Sunny in Philadelphia style subtitles. Cambridge, England, 5:15 p.m. on a Friday. I was like, oh, are we going to Patty's Pub? I don't know what's going on there. But no, it's somebody breaking into the Cambridge Museum, and they're making their way down to the archives, digging through old scrolls and papyrus and stuff like that. And as soon as you see all the writing on the various things in the drawers, you kind of immediately think, okay, well, this is either angelic or demonic or some sort of spell.
Mhm.
And it's revealed quickly as that person grabs a couple of sheets and puts it in her purse. Security guard breaks in and demon jumps bodies. You go, oh, okay, bad guy.
That guy. We do have Nadine over in the chat room who just joined us.
Oh, excellent. Nice. So immediate betrayal there. Demon leaves that body, goes security guard by. Security guard goes outside to meet his fence and immediately gets killed with an angel blade. After saying, hey, what do you think Asmodeus is going to give us for this? You're a moron.
Okay, so I guess there was a little bit there, Scorpion and the Frog.
Yeah.
I forgot about that scene because he did play the "Yay, friend, do this for me," and then he stabs him in the.
And
have
we ever seen this version of the Crossroads Demon before? I don't feel like we have.
No. Well, before Crowley came around, they were all females and they were all in slinky dresses.
And I think we saw one over maybe sometime in the last 2 seasons that was a black guy.
Yeah, that was in season 7. That
really?
Was the one, that was the one that tricked Becky into getting Sam to marry him.
Okay.
Horrible episode. I hated that episode. Except it brought Garth in, so I did like that part of it. But the rest of it, the Becky stuff, totally. Oh, don't get me started.
All right, so relatively new Crossroads Demon, although he calls Dean and says, "Hey, I think I've got something that you're gonna want here," and of course they're skeptical, as they should be. Nobody gets gifted something like that just out of nowhere. But they go and they meet this guy who reveals himself to be, I think he said, "I'm not only a Crossroads Demon. When Crowley got promoted, I'm the Crossroads Demon."
Right.
So
he's kind of a little anticlimactic.
Yeah, you would think if you're going to introduce a guy that's in charge of a whole class, he'd be around for longer. But I mean, hey, he offered Dean cherry pie right off the bat. So
you know that you love something when even hell knows it's your favorite thing. It used to butter you up.
Mm-hmm. And I did kind of enjoy the way that he talked to them at first. Just the whole, yeah, you guys have been a real pain in the pitchfork and the halo.
Yeah.
Just causing trouble for everybody.
And it is funny when they flip roles and Dean's the one that's skeptical. And, after Crowley, I said, no more demons. None.
Mm-hmm.
Crowley was the exception and I'm no more demons. And, well, we need a miracle. And he's like, well, you know what demons call miracles? Well, I don't, but I know it's not called a miracle,
Nice. It looks like we also have Robert in the chat channel. Hello, Robert. Guys, if you're watching, if you like these live recaps that we do, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your friends, and please go to our main site, malice-corp.com. By clicking on our Amazon links there, you help keep this site free, these podcasts free, allow us to do this stuff. We just do it because we love it. Hopefully you guys enjoy watching us do it. Let's face it, Christmas is coming up. You're going to Amazon anyway. Might as well go through our site. So the Crossroads Demon, and what was his name? Bart, I believe, reveals that what has been stolen and what he's offering the boys is a Nephilim tracking spell. Because we need a MacGuffin.
And they were so popular at once upon a time that you needed a tracking spell for them, or were they so unpopular that you had to have a tracking spell?
Well, it's revealed later after the boys go back to the bunker. After Bart says, "Sam, you're the smart one. Verify this." He does some research and explains to Dean, "Yeah, this was written by King Solomon to keep track of the Queen of Sheba, who was a Nephilim, or as Dean so succinctly puts it." He created this spell to keep track of his girlfriend. Like, yep, pretty much.
Oh, it was Solomon. I don't know. It was odd, but it was funny.
Yeah, I like when they throw in a little bit of weird, pseudo religious history and stuff. It's kind of fun. So yeah, he checks it out. We find out that the half of the spell that they got, because of course it's half now, half on delivery. Is real, verifiable. Sure seems like it would work to actually find a Nephilim, in this case, Jack. Sam makes the case to Dean that they should do it that because Jack is out there alone and scared and dangerous. Super, what do you think about that? Because I don't know that if he is masking himself this well, I don't know that he needs to be found. What do you think?
I don't think he needs to be found either. I think when he's ready, he'll come back. He knows where the bunker is, and dude can take care of himself. I do get the point, though, if he's dangerous to other people.
Sure.
Like if he loses his temper or if he, freaks out and injures more people. And I get Dean's point of view. The mistake is what I'm worried about. But if he's cloaking himself that well, dude's fine.
And clearly not having any major incidents, or they would have heard about it on the news somewhere.
He's probably in Antarctica, hanging with the penguins, as far as I'm concerned.
Just up there logging with Dexter in Alaska.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, didn't mean to bring up painful memories.
Worst finale ever.
In fact, I wrote an article detailing the worst series finales ever. That is on our site, malice-corp.com as well. So they decide that they're going to go look into actually getting the other half of the spell from Bart the Crossroads Demon. And the introduction of Smash and Grab, I kind of liked these two.
I did too, and I would like to see her back. And I actually would like to have seen him back too, but as we saw, that is not going to be the case.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really like when there are people that are just kind of aloof and sarcastic and like, yeah, I'm part of this, but I really don't care about your crap.
Right, and I agree with you. What did you say she looked like?
I think she looks a lot like Danielle Panabaker.
If her and Winona Ryder had a baby.
Exactly.
It would be her. And if they matched it with the personality of Mrs. Malice, that is that actress right there. That is that actress. Because that's who when she started talking and speaking, I was just like, holy crap, that's Mrs. Malice.
Yep.
Yeah.
You called her by her real name, so I didn't make the connection at first in our chat.
I know.
Like, yeah. Who? Oh, yeah. Jack Malice's wife. Totally forgot about her. So yeah, it's a heist, and let's be clear. This is a straight up heist movie plot. Like it's almost exactly by the book, a heist movie plot. You've got your obstacles to overcome, you've got your wacky team, mishaps in the middle, betrayal at the end. It's basically the Italian Job, but for an hour and in
with supernatural
characters. It's determined that the reason that they need the boys is because they need the blood of a man who's been to hell and back in order to get into the vault.
Right.
And Dean is one such person.
One such person. Now, when they say that you need the blood of a man who's been to hell and back, does that mean your soul or does that mean your body? Because Sam went to hell too to fetch Bobby's soul.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, was that just because it was more obvious that Dean spent time in hell?
Well, and Sam spent time in the cage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they've both been to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there a time limit? Because remember, Dean said that his time there felt like 30 or 40 years.
Well, Sam's soul would have been in there for a year, so that would have been 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I wonder if that was just a plot point they overlooked.
It seems like the writers are not too up on details lately.
Yeah.
Which is kind of disappointing. So, wait a minute. Why would we need Yakety Sax playing?
I don't even know. I think he's
Oh. Okay. So, they as you pointed out to me in our private chat while we were watching, they let Sam drive. Sam's driving baby while Dean's in the car.
In the car, not where he gets out and gets out afterwards and gets in the driver's seat and drives away. No, he drove the whole way there, and that was mind-blowing to me.
And by the way, great line from Dean there as he sees the flowery Doc Martens. And probably the reason that I figured out she looked like Winona, he looks at her, he goes, "Hey, Winona, the 90s called. They want their shoes back."
Seriously.
That was pretty good.
She did kind of look like the 90s goth spitter out. Emo.
Seriously, she looked like she just walked out of Reality Bites.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So yeah, I mean, I kind of get why Sam was driving at least at the gate, because he's the one that, made a deal online with the guy. He's the one that's going to be going in and talking to, what was his name? Shrike.
Shrike, I think. Yeah, Shrike. Yeah, but they were pronouncing it Shrek online. People were making fun of him that he was Shrek.
So yeah, he's the one that's made the deal. He's got, supposedly something of his grandfather's to sell, because this guy is a massive supernatural artifact collector, who pretty much never leaves his house. He's a hermit. We figure out why at some point. But yeah, so Sam is the one that has to go in and actually talk to the guy, while Dean and Smash, as we know her at this point, get out of the car and start. Well, first they have to summon Grab, who we know now is a demon. And they have a fun little interplay about, don't really have a choice here. Neither do I. Mm-hmm. How long does summoning a demon take? He's like, fine.
Like, he's just like, boof, there he is,
She reminded me of, like, girls in their early 20s that don't really want to talk to you and are just looking at their phone the whole time. I think she might have actually been doing that.
Mm-hmm. She on her phone, drinking her, what did he call it? The nerve damage?
Oh, yeah. Nerve damage. Yeah.
Nerve damage. And I'm like, I guess, you have to make up something, because unless you get the product endorsement, you can't use that product. But
it's not like it's, which I thought was pretty clearly a reference to Jolt Cola, which was like, when I was a kid, that was purported to have like 3 times as much caffeine as everything else. Yeah.
Now that's like nothing, in today's world. If you don't have 100 times the caffeine, it's nothing.
But actually, that's the point where I hadn't really thought about it. I kind of assumed that both Smash and Grab were demons when we first met them. But when she kind of offered him a soda, I was like, oh, she's human. That's kind of cool.
I think that's why that she was able to walk in, because he had the demon warding up in the front. So she was able to walk in with him. Isn't that why they had to summon him when they were inside the grounds? So he couldn't go in the front gate.
Yeah. But that makes me, we saw a part where Shrike was preparing, because some demon was telling him that people were coming. And the demon was in his house already. I don't know, maybe Shrike summoned him there, or maybe he's got a special, doorway for them, whatever. Yeah. So they summon Grab, and Grab is just as snarky and kind of a douche, and with the hipster glasses and hat. He was kind of fun. I didn't mind that guy.
I don't know why he made me think of this, but I felt like I was watching Bruno Mars. Maybe it was the hat. Maybe it was just the hat and the sarcasm, but it kind of felt like he gave me like a Bruno Mars vibe.
He made me think of the comedian Moshe Kasher.
Yeah, that too.
Might have just been the hipster glasses, though.
Yeah.
So this guy is here specifically to be able to use Dean's blood to find this vault that they're looking for. And they're really confused on how to do that, because Dean's blood is supposed to be the key to getting to it, but nobody really knows how except for Grab. So he recites a little spell, and as soon as he said something along the lines of like sanguine inflammer, he said something in Latin that definitely sounded like blood will burn, and I was like, oh man, this is not going to be cool. But instead, no, freaking Jared, or not Jared,
Jensen
gets to show once again that he is fantastic in physical comedy.
That's ridiculous. The facial expressions too. I don't know why the facial expressions, but yeah, where he turned into like the locator, and it's being led by his flashlight, like his hand, his pointer finger, and I'm like, what? Really? Like you can't just walk. You can't just be led in a direction. You got to walk with your hand out in front of you. Like, what was the direction in that? What was the script? Walk as ridiculous as possible.
Like, how specific was the Latin of that spell? Did it say like right hand must point or whatever? And that was pretty funny. Robert says that there was also Nitro Cola. I don't think I ever had that one.
I never had that one, but I had Jolt, and my dad actually made me stop drinking that because I would get jittery and like twitchy. So
yeah, now we do it a little bit classier and call them energy drinks, like Red Bull. I had to stop drinking that stuff because my heart started to skip.
Yeah, I drink a Monster here, a Monster there, but for the most part, I skip them, or I'll split them in half. Like I'll have a quarter of one because I think I can legitimately say I've never had an energy drink that wasn't spiked with some sort of booze. But that was mostly an early 20s, like early 2000s thing. So yeah.
So we get past Dean's blood being a dowsing rod, and we see a little bit of the meeting between Sam and Shrike. And the very first thing he does is drink this guy's homemade gin, which I think I wrote down in my notes. Homemade gin, bad idea.
Homemade gin, always a bad idea. Drinking something from someone you know is a potentially an enemy, never a good idea. So maybe he didn't drink it. Maybe he pulled a Harry Potter and he just pretended to drink it.
I hope so. Because I kept on expecting there to be some sort of side effects, or like he would get a little woozy or something, but nothing ever happened. So
knock him unconscious, or because he had to know that the guy knew he was being played. It was not going to be that easy.
No. And I mean, that kind of makes sense as we find out a little bit about who this guy was towards the end of the episode. Figure out that he's maybe not the worst guy. He had in this case, the road to hell literally paved with good intentions.
Literally paved with good intentions. And to be fair,
I just still figuratively, but
he really was only killing demons.
Yeah, as far as we saw.
As far as we saw, we don't know that any humans went on his property and were killed. So,
something I want to get to at the end. Remind me, once we get towards the end of the episode, something about looting, which I think would have been a good idea. So we see that Sam is offering to sell him the Babylonian demon killing knife, and I think, okay, I get that you had to offer something cool, but this is actually a one-of-a-kind thing. Like,
yeah, very, very rare. Yeah.
And
the one to Ruby and that era of the show.
Yeah, it's got sentimental value if nothing else.
Yeah.
And the amount of money the guy pulled out to pay him didn't look like nearly enough for a one-of-a-kind genuine demon killing knife.
I mean, I know that you have the angel blades now, which do kill demons, so it's not as needed. But I don't know. You're in the metal letter bunker. You're telling me that you couldn't find something in there worth selling?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking they were going to come up with some artifact that they pulled out of a dusty old closet somewhere.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, something else we could learn about and maybe use later. But no, just the demon knife again. But of course, as the guy pulls out the money, he says, I can give you this, but we both know that's not really why you're here. I don't know if it's the fact that other demon warned him that people were coming, or if he's just always that paranoid.
I would think always that paranoid. Considering what he ended up having, you had to know that demon was not going to give up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you have that reputation, I guess, really, who's going to come there to sell crap?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Crazy old guy who never leaves his house, collects mystical objects. Yeah, and also, why would you go alone?
Right.
Just a bad idea. But we find out here after he gets stabbed. He throws down with Sam for a little bit, and actually he's holding his own pretty well until Sam stabs him. And the very first thing I thought was, okay, this guy doesn't flicker and die, so he's not a demon. Is that going to cause Sam like a huge amount of, guilt or remorse or whatever? Until we find out, no, dude can't die on his property anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. My thought was, okay, guy didn't flinch, number one. Guy didn't crumple, number two. Then my thought was, Sam, why the hell aren't you running out of the room? Because you clearly, this guy's not. Then the guy starts talking, and as he starts pulling the knife out, and Sam just stands there looking at him.
There's not even a whole lot of blood or anything coming out. It's basically just, the knife's out.
So I'm just like, all right, we're going to be railroad plotted again, and we're just going to have him stand there instead of doing the smart thing like he would have done any other season and freaking run out of the room. Cover's already blown. There was no reason for him to stay there.
Yeah, it's not like they're going to sit down and have some more homemade gin now.
No. So I'm like, but he just stands there and then lets himself get punched in the face. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So that was lame. That was lame.
With the artifact that he pointed out earlier was incorrect.
Yes.
That was fun.
So was absolutely lame.
Yeah.
Bad writing right there.
Yeah. And honestly, if that guy was trying so hard to kill him before, he should have killed him right then after he knocked him out. Apparently he left him laying there because he didn't seem to have too much trouble getting out later.
But maybe that goes back to his thing of he doesn't kill humans. Maybe he was going to take Sam off his property, dump him at the, front gate.
Could have at least tied him up somewhere while he went to check out everything else.
Yeah. So a little bit of a bad writing.
As much fun as this episode was until the end, there are definitely some issues with it.
Yeah.
So we find out that the dude is immortal. And then we cut down to they have found the storm cellar looking opening to the special vault where this guy keeps his most precious stuff. Not too obvious that it's in the big unlocked doors. Although, nice comment there. Well, that's not locked. Never a good sign.
Yeah, never a good sign. It just means it's going to get tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Why grab?
Grab. Yeah, just refused to go down there.
Refused to go in there. Why? I have no idea. He just stood there like a big old target, saying, "Hey, I'm here." Not even like keeping watch. Just
nope. Just kind of standing at the top in the open, shouting.
Yeah. What do you say to that?
The more we break this episode down, the sadder I'm getting about it. Actually,
I know. Yeah, towards the end, because there was some great stuff in it. Don't get me wrong. The comedic, the scenes between Sam and Dean were great. But when it comes to this part of it, it was just like
the actual plot. You could tell they were like, "Well, this isn't really going to advance the season arc, so we don't have to try that hard."
But that's sad because they're filler, and I use filler in quotation marks. Their Monster of the Week episodes usually are some of the best of the season. Mm-hmm. But this one just seemed to crumple a little bit like a bad souffle.
Yeah. So they get down there and, again, Jensen with fantastic physical comedy has to stick his hand into the demon lion mouth thing in order to unlock the door. And my God, when his hand got clamped down, at first I was picturing like, oh, they're going to shove needles through there and it's going to just drain blood for a minute. Yeah. But then you remember, even before you see what it actually is, you're like, no, this is something that the dude wants to get into regularly.
Yeah, that's true.
So after all that fuss and all that screaming and wriggling and being worried that it might be spikes or snakes or spiders or literally they do essentially a diabetes test.
But I will give this credit. I think a lot of people miss that the fact it was an Indiana Jones reference. He was trying to teach why has it got to be snakes? He was doing the spiders.
Why is it always snakes?
Yeah.
Or I think in Temple of Doom, there's where he like had to reach through something and it was just crawling with bugs.
Yeah. No. See, no, I don't roll that way. I don't do spiders. I'll do snakes. I can walk.
The snakes I'm fine with.
And we're good. But you put me anywhere near a spider, I'm gone. Like a cartoon.
At this point, I can stand comfortably in a room with them or even move them to the outside if I need to, but I don't want to touch them.
Oh, well, if I put them under a cup with the thing, but I'm doing this the whole time because I just don't do spiders. They're unnatural with their legs. So anyway.
So they do the actually after the door opens, we cut back to no, it's not even that. The door opens and the very first thing that we see and the very first thing that I thought was, look at all the patterns on that floor. That's clearly a blow dart trap. And,
yes.
And
another Indiana reference with
a lot of this was along those lines. And of course, Smash being a fairly naive, apparently has never seen the Indiana Jones movies, just starts walking forward, and Dean grabs her back real quick, and the dart misses her by about that much. And we turn around and we see that Shrike is now there. Well, this is after he has killed Grab. Just
right. Just walked up and killed him.
Just for some guy on his property, stab him with a demon killing knife. Why not?
Yeah.
Good thing he was a demon.
I did like the line though of her when he's holding his hand and she's like, "Dude, you gonna live?" Like just looking at him like, "Quit being a baby."
All right.
Just like but then he did save her, so it was all good.
Yeah.
He redeemed himself.
So we get Shrike, of course, apparently walks down his own steps very silently because they turn around. There he is. And Yeah, the Sam right down the steps behind him warns Dean after Dean has unloaded a clip into the guy. Dean, he's immortal. So Dean punches him in the face and he goes down. And this is where we learn Glassjaw beats immortality. If you can't take a punch, it doesn't matter how long you're going to live. Stuff could still go badly for you.
I know. So he is human at heart. He's not invincible. He's just immortal and can't die. And we're having a debate in the chat room. What's worse, rats or camel spiders?
Camel spiders are not as big as those pictures made them look. Now, don't get me wrong. They're friggin' huge for spiders. But you remember there was that picture a couple years ago that made it look like the camel spider was this friggin' big? Yeah. No, that was 2 of them, and it was at a really close angle to the camera.
Right, yeah. So object distortion error. But all I got to say is my sister was patrolling in Iraq, and they get a report that there's something coming through the barbed wire. And what comes out are these 3 camel spiders, unscathed, just crawling out of the barbed wire like they're walking through powdered sand. And in my opinion, if you got something that can crawl through barbed wire like that and just walk on like it's nothing, I'm not messing with those.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm good. Rats don't bother me. I don't really.
Rats are creepy. I mean, we're not gonna lie.
Like feral rats, sure, you're gonna get bit.
Yeah. Like sewer rats.
But like pet rats or pet mice?
Pet rats, pet rice or pet rice, pet rat. We're just going to combine the 2 things.
For when your pet iPhone gets wet.
Yeah.
So we've got Shrike all knocked out, and Dean and Sam start looking through, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to get through that room. He's like, it's basically a keyboard. There's thousands of combinations. You got to know the exact right combination to get through. He says, it's not like the stable lasers from Entrapment. And they have a little pop culture reference moment there. He was like, dude, you've seen Entrapment? There was a lot
of good little pop culture references tonight. I liked that. That was good writing. That was good, solid writing.
Yeah. Although what I was actually, and don't get me wrong, Entrapment, the scene with Catherine Zeta-Jones training for the lasers, every dude on the planet loves that movie for that reason.
I loved that movie. I mean, for that scene, it was amazing to watch.
But I was kind of thinking more like Ocean's 12 when the dude is dancing through the lasers, because I was picturing, darts flying and them put on some music and just,
when she's flipping her way across, so Entrapment, that was nice. They went a different route and didn't give you the expected. So
yeah, it was good. But they do come up with an idea, which I honestly didn't figure out at first because I didn't know they had a rolling platform to put the guy on. I just saw him eye the duct tape, and I thought they were gonna either roll the duct tape down or maybe duct tape over some of the holes as they went, like before they stepped on the thing. Because the guy he indicated to them that these are silver tipped, so it takes care of several supernatural creatures. They're filled with arsenic, which would take care of humans, holy water, which would take care of demons, and holy oil, which would take care of angels. Right. So basically, nothing's getting through there.
But the holy oil would only work on an angel if you lit it on fire.
Right.
So that really doesn't take care of an angel unless it had flame shooting out afterwards. So
another little missing detail then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe there was, I don't know, flint and steel.
Really it did make you wonder, though, like if it was that plan, why couldn't they just step on it and lean back? Right.
I was kind of thinking that, too. I was like, maybe you can see where the things are placed on the wall and they were all like waist high or above. Maybe crawl, do a low crawl. Not that hard to get through.
Yeah. But maybe have the girl do it, though, because, or no, she wasn't there. You'd have to have do it.
She had run away. She tried to get away when Shrike showed up, and she got stopped at the gate by.
I think even Crouching Jared would be too big to do that.
Crouching Jared, Hidden Jensen. So instead, they duct tape this dude to a rolling chair, and because he can't get killed on his property anyway, he can get stuck full of all the darts they want. And that was a fun little scene, rolling him down that thing.
He's pissed.
He looked like a seamstress's wrist pin cushion thing at the end. It was great.
Yep, it was funny. And then, he's all tied up again. He's pissed as hell though, and it's like, well, duh, you just stuck with darts.
Yeah, just because you're immortal doesn't mean you can't get hurt. Clearly.
Yeah.
But one thing that I kind of I was like, okay, we don't know that these are single loaded, do we?
Mhm.
Because after
Right.
they rolled him down, they just kind of walked up like,
Yeah.
all the darts are gone. You know, they might have had more than one dart in there. Not designed by the Aztecs or anything.
It would have been smart, but clearly it was a one-time.
Sure. And in fact, they get to the end, they resecure Shrike, and they see this, you know, safe from like the 1910s or whatever. And I can't remember, one of them said something along the lines of like, nobody's ever seen a safe like this in like 100 years. I'm like, I don't know, safes last a pretty long time, and especially if you're bringing on someone that specifically cracks safe as they're part of the crew, I'm betting they can do that. She did it with just a stethoscope. Because of course she's come back because Bart at the gate told her, nah, no swapsies. You do what I tell you.
Yep. And that's when you find out that she's not doing this for the joy of it. You know, she's made a deal. She's made a demon deal.
Mm-hmm.
And her ass is his.
Yeah. Well, her soul probably too. So she opens the safe with relatively little problem. They grab the trunk that they were supposed to get out of the safe, load it up into the car, just enough room left for her in the back seat. And Super, I know you thought Shrike is just mysteriously gone at this point.
Yeah.
But I know you thought he was going to be in the trunk.
I really thought he was going to be in the trunk, and he was going to like come popping out of the trunk like a weird, you know, Jack in the Box. But
you got to remember that specific trunk. There's not enough room to fit a body back there. It's full of weapons.
Well, now that it's full of weapons, yeah, you are right. But the funny thing is it is big enough to fit a body in there because Kripke was when Kripke made the show, he had a neighbor that was an antique dealer in antique cars. So he went and he's like, hey, I want to do like a Mustang or like a Camaro, like an antique Mustang Camaro. And the guy's like, no, dude, you got to go with an Impala because if you're having a show about hunters, you got to have a trunk that's big enough to fit a body in it. And so he ended up going with the Impala instead, which was a good choice in my opinion.
Absolutely. Having driven multiple generations of Camaros, I can tell you the trunks are not big. The one that I'm in right now, I can barely fit about 2 cases of wine in there.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, I'm not taking a lot of long cross country trips in that, and I definitely wouldn't have room for hunting weapons. So
Robert says Shrike wasn't hiding in the trunk; he's in the swamp with Fiona.
So we do actually see Shrike almost immediately here. He is sitting in some pickup truck off the road or on the road. And the first thing I think is, dude, you had many more opportunities to engage them on your property where you're immortal. Right. Why would you immediately go to the road that you don't own?
Maybe he was ready to die. I don't know, man.
I don't know. So they do the quick backward driving thing, which, by the way, cars don't reverse that fast.
No, they don't. That was a little bit of editing magic. But I'm going to give Jen some props because I think that was actually him doing the reverse driving. It wasn't a stunt driver.
It sure looked like him. Yeah.
It sure looked like him. And I know he does do a lot of those action scenes with the car. Him and Jim Beaver was the other one that have done some of the action scenes with the Impala. And Jim was not as good at it because he actually accidentally ran Jensen over in one scene. He went to go throw it in and was supposed to drive forward. He threw it in reverse and backed up and just totally took Jensen out.
Get out of the way, idiots.
Yeah.
And of course, with the backward driving and the quick whip around to the car after he kind of looks at Sam and goes, "You gonna take care of this?" "Oh yeah, sure."
I have a gun. I can shoot tire. Boom,
and
boom.
Apparently he's the best marksman in the friggin' world because 35 miles an hour with a sideways twist shoots out a moving car's tires. No problem.
No problem. One shot. Boom, done.
Yeah. So they get out. They have a little confrontation with Shrike in the road. And we learn that it's not really that he's a bad guy. He sold his soul to save his kid's life. And of course, it didn't really work out that well. Apparently he didn't read the fine print that, hey, by the way, the kid can still die after he's cured from this.
Yeah. And it makes sense. I mean, you save him from that one thing, but you're not guaranteeing that he's going to live a full and happy life. Like, he could still die.
It's like the what was the movie with Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley? Bedazzled? No, but yeah,
Oh, no, I
Bedazzled.
think it was Bedazzled. Yeah, where she plays the devil and he's getting his wishes and they never turn out. That was a great.
Yeah, anytime he makes a wish or gets a request granted by the devil, he gets exactly the letter of the law of what he's asked for. Yeah. And everything else can be terrible.
Exactly. So, and that was a funny movie, by the way.
It was.
Go to Amazon, buy it.
Back in the heyday of Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley in that red dress playing pool. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Hugh Grant was stupid for leaving her, cheating on her, man.
Yeah. Let's not get into that. So, yeah, he says, you guys are on the wrong side of this one. You're working with somebody that's pure evil. He, killed my kid even after saving him. I just happened to have found leverage before he came to take my soul, which makes me wonder, at what point did he go to hell and come back?
That's what I was wondering too. I'm wondering if he even ever went in that vault. Maybe he set it up that way so no one could get in there in his mind. Because who goes to hell and come back?
Well, the guy, Bart, said, he is one such man. He's been there and back. And you'd figure there wouldn't be that elaborate accessing mechanism if he hadn't gone in there every once in a while. Why even set up access to it at all?
Yeah, they didn't.
If you yourself can't do it,
they did not explain that, how he was able to go to hell and come back.
We need to. Who wrote this one?
I think it was. Let me see.
Because whoever they are, they need to work on detail a bit more.
Yeah, she's got the good stuff down.
Because I don't feel like we're normally picking out huge plot holes in episodes. Normally we may just have some digression about the directions they chose to go. But this one, like I said earlier, as fun as it was, just kind of there's stuff missing.
Yeah, there is definitely stuff missing.
Anyway, so we discovered that essentially they just stole the Crossroads Demon's bones for him, which was know from previous seasons with Crowley. The guy being a demon was formerly human, so technically, you burn those bones, you get rid of the guy. And so if he can find a way to hide his bones away, as Crowley used to, he would essentially be safe from being killed by anything other than like an angel blade or a demon blade. So he cuts off Shrike's head and says, "Hey, buddy, shouldn't have left the property." And everybody watching goes, "Duh." Just dumb. And then, of course, they get into a little negotiation / end of heist betrayal back and forth with Bart and Smash, aka Alice, and the Winchesters. She takes the money that he's agreed to pay her for doing the job, and of course she's still basically on his payroll because he owns her soul at this point. And the boys turn him down. They don't take the other half of the spell because
which I knew they were going to do.
Yeah, of course. I see. I kind of thought maybe they were going to take it and then immediately betray him.
Right.
Which
would have made more sense to do that.
Would have made more sense for the characters. Would have made more sense for they're not above fooling or tricking or lying to demons. No, they never have been.
Nope. They get what they want, and then they're just almost like demons in that regard. They take what they want and then they kill.
They literally said earlier in the episode, "Let's do this, get the other half of the spell." And Dean said, "Then what?" And Sam said, "We kill him." And Dean's like, "Yep, cool."
Yeah.
So why didn't they do that? All of a sudden moralistic, like,
more moral high ground.
And with the throwaway line of, "Plus we just really don't like you." I'm like, what?
Yeah. They were going to keep the bones is what they were going to do. They were going to have the leverage at that point.
I didn't think they were going to have leverage. I thought they were pretty much going to destroy him right there.
Yeah.
I think that's why
throw the lighter down. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's why the lighter was in the bones when they finally trade over for Alice, because Bart, of course, grabs Alice and kind of, holds her hostage and says, "Look, you can burn my bones, but in that last half second before I go up, I'm going to kill her."
Yeah.
So they kind of back off a little bit, and he sends Alice to retrieve the bones for him, bring them over, and Dean kind of not so subtly indicates to her, "Hey, by the way, I put a lighter in the box. Take care of yourself." And so she lights the bones up.
Yeah.
And none of them
with her after spending 2 hours with her.
Yeah. She walks around, and rather than with her hands visible closing the box, immediately reaches inside, stands up, flicks a Zippo, and throws it down.
Yeah, and he does nothing. The demon does nothing.
Not only does he do nothing, he looks over at the spell in his hand for about 4 seconds before the fire's anywhere near it, and then starts and the boys just stand there doing nothing.
Yeah, well, and Dean was like, "Get the spell, Sam, get the spell." Like, why didn't you go get the spell? Yeah. This is the part that really pissed me off. I mean, there was the little part in the beginning, but this just felt like so forced.
And I sent you a picture of my notes too. You were like, in our chat, you're like, "Why would you blow on something like that when it's on fire? That's going to make it worse." Like if it was, the corner was on fire, you sure blow it out.
Yeah.
But even then, you take the time to get down there and blow. Stomp on it.
Stomp on it. You got big ass feet. You got big ass feet. You're 6'4", 6'5", and you get down literally on your hands and knees and you're blowing at it like you're trying to light a fire. Like, what are you doing? That was the stupidest thing I've seen that they've written.
When I saw that it was on fire falling to the ground, I legit thought, okay, they're going to get an incomplete portion of it, and we're going to have part of the next episode where they're like, they've translated it, but they have to figure out the rest of the puzzle. Exactly.
Yes, that would have been somewhat cool.
Would have made sense.
Them try and be cryptographers and fill in the gaps, so to speak.
Would have sort of advanced the plot of the season a little bit. Which
the demon tablet, when Kevin was trying to fill in the missing half of the demon tablet, would have been kind of cool. Would have been maybe a little monotonous, but it would have been kind of cool. But that was literally the stupidest thing that they've written since the whole episode of Charlie's death.
Yep, I agree.
I have not seen them be that stupid.
Because that episode, that move there essentially negated the entire episode. They are exactly where they were at the beginning.
Entire episode completely and utterly pointless.
You do not have to watch this episode to understand anything about this season.
Nope. No. All you had to know is that it failed utterly, because at least with other Monster of the Week's episodes, there was a point, there was a satisfaction conclusion. It may not have advanced the full plot, but something related, or they achieved some kind of moving forward. This was just a.
And I think they tried to sort of salvage that at the end, because there's supposed, the last little scene with the brothers where Dean says something along the lines of, we'll just keep working. That's what we do. Well, and Sam's like, "Well, man, I'm glad to hear you talking like that again."
Yeah.
So maybe they're trying to say, "Oh, look, they're back into a little better of a mental space." But honestly, I don't need a whole episode for that. They could have covered that in 2 lines at the start of the next episode. Like, I'm feeling better about things.
Yeah, or they could have even done that and still had just the part of the, like, we could do this. We got 2 smart people here. We can put the spell together.
Mm-hmm.
It would have just made more sense. But literally, like, falling on your hands and knees to blow the fire out, and I'm like, look at your palm. Look at your big ass palm.
Do that real quick.
I couldn't even believe it. This was not a Buck Lemmings episode for them to be that stupid. And I'm looking at who wrote this. This is Meredith Glenn. She's one of the newer writers, and for the most part, I haven't disliked most of her episodes. But I'm going to go back now that after this one, and I'm going to go back and look at the other ones that she's written, and I'm going to see if they're a little bit as swirly and chaotic and as this one got after the first half. Plot holy, yeah. Because the first half I thought rock solid for the most part.
Yeah.
And then just it's when they got to the actual mansion, like you said, that it started to fall in like a bad souffle.
Real quick on the chat channel, comment that Robert made in regards to the little backward chase and Sam's prowess with a gun, referencing The Walking Dead. where there's a chase scene where a guy in a Humvee with a friggin' 50, I think it was a 50 cal, just shooting everywhere and not hitting anything, including the Jeep or the motorcycle that Daryl was on. And then Daryl on a motorcycle, one shot, one kill, no problem.
No.
He went to the same shooting school as Sam.
So the same shooting school as Sam, same shooting school that Owen Wilson went to and behind enemy lines when he's running. You got all the snipers shooting at him. You got 50 guys shooting at him. Can't hit him. He's running through the woods. He turns around, not even looking, shoots the guy in the tree. And I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm. It's it's essentially the 80s action hero shooting school. Yeah. Anyway, so fun episode overall. A lot of holes, really good dialogue. Jensen was great.
Jensen was great. Some very good dialogue. Some very good pop culture.
What was your favorite moment in the thing?
My favorite moment was the comedic acting. My favorite potential moment is possibly the addition of a new character.
Yes.
If they bring
Alice
back, or Smash, yeah. Smash Alice. I'll call her Alice Smash. If they bring her back, and I'm not saying that she's a replacement for Charlie, don't ever think. No. I saw some people saying online that she's a watered down Charlie. She's not a watered down Charlie.
We don't even know if she's good with tech.
No, her skill set and her personality is absolutely the complete opposite of Charlie, in my opinion. But if they bring her back, potentially a great new character.
I agree. I really liked that little moment as she was getting on the bus and Dean said, "Hey, stay weird," and she was like,
"Yes,
that was great."
Okay, so that was a little bit like Charlie when she was her signature phrase to "peace out, bitches." But no, treat her with respect if you bring her back. Don't let her near Buck Lemmings. Don't do it.
I think that the same could be said of most female characters. Don't let them near Buck Lemmings.
Just don't.
I gotta say, my favorite, besides the roller chair down the pin trap, was just there was a lot of really good little Dean one-liners, or even one-liners in reference to Dean, like when they're eating the pie. Just Dean eating the pie after Bart left, and Sam giving him the look like, "Really, dude?
Like, really?" Demon pie.
But yeah, he said something along the lines of like, "We don't. That's the thing. We don't really negotiate with demons. We ice them." He goes, "What a very Dean thing to say."
What a very Dean. Sam, you're the smart one. You do this. Yeah.
All right, so we are pretty much wrapped on this one. We are back next week, I believe. When is the mid-season break? Is that after?
They don't break until mid-December. So I think we got one, maybe two more.
Okay,
it's
probably after 10. No, okay, episode 9 is next. 10. All right. Yeah. So we'll be back in a week. In the meantime, I know there's at least a couple in the chat channel there. Go ahead and like the video if you please. If you would like to look up the rest of us, the people that help with making this show, you can follow our actual. You can go to our actual website, malice-corp.com. That's where we write a bunch of articles and stuff. Super here is responsible for a large portion of those.
I got some pending. I got to get on our editor. I got to get on Mr. Nudie Rudy to go in and send some of those articles out.
Absolutely.
I'm coming for you if you're watching this, Nudie.
We have got our main website, Twitter, Malice Corp. We have got our main cast, our Malice Corp cast, which is on hiatus right now. That's normally on Friday nights. And we'll be coming back in January?
First week of January. After the week of January. We got to recover from the holiday.
Yeah. Essentially the first non-designated hangover Friday of January. And that can be followed at MaliceCast on Twitter. Myself at ICZorro Super.
Follow me on Twitter at Superwhovian. I know I talked to Nadine, if she's still in the chat channel. I talk to her quite often on there. It's a good time. We have a good time on Twitter. Always laughing, always joking. And so just, come hang out. Come chat.
And of course, we've got the missing member tonight, Gia Tomcat, which on Twitter is at RedMipaw. That's REDMIPAW. Yeah. So thanks for joining us. And we will see you again next week.
Peace.
Carry on.